Microphone check 1 2. What is this? Yo, it's your boy. We're back at it. We're doing it. You know what I'm saying? I got the merch on. If you're watching on YouTube, we got the fucking sweater with the sweatpants. It's a sweatsuit. A lot of people refer to it as a sweatsuit, the jumpsuit, whatever the hell you want to call it. Check it out. Holiday season. Hit them with it under the Christmas tree or one of the 8 days of Hanukkah. I can't assume what your belief systems are. Do you think that there's a, eternal life after we die or not? That's kind of the difference that I know between Judaism and Christianity. Or Catholicism, if you're in my boat. Shout out to Irish Catholic people from the East Coast for raising me the right way. A way that made me so fearful of religion that I actually just don't go to church anymore. Shout out to that. But I hope you guys are all enjoying it. It's officially the holiday season. We're right in it. We're right in what I call the grundle of the holiday season, the taint, right between if Thanksgiving was the asshole and Christmas was the balls. We're right there in the middle of. You guys get it. Am I drawing a good enough picture for you? But yeah, we're here. We're doing it. I'm back. I was gonna say sorry for missing you last week, but honestly, I'm not. I went to Hawaii. It was my birthday. I thought I was gonna maybe be able to record there, but at some point I was just like, you know what? I need to just focus on chilling this week. And so I was my last 2 weeks were kind of crazy. I was gifted the trip to Hawaii by my lovely girlfriend. She cares about me so damn much. And she just likes going by beaches and relaxing and chilling. It's not like she, you know what I mean? And like, it's a gift for me for sure. But, we also both benefited from going to Hawaii. It was one of the nicest things anybody's ever done for me, though. People don't usually care about me like that. And she got me that for my birthday, which is great. And so we went to Hawaii, Honolulu, Waikiki, actually, to be exact, which I didn't know. I'd never been there, so I didn't know anything about what the lay of the land was. But, yeah, Waikiki's like the area of Honolulu you would go if you were visiting and trying to see stuff, do stuff, be in the ocean, or, like, do the touristy type shit. Whereas, like, Honolulu is actually just, like, that's their city. You can still do shit there, and there's good restaurants and bars, I'm sure. But, if you're running for office, you're going to end up in Honolulu. And then the island is Oahu. I don't know. There's a bunch of islands. I'm always trying to, like, get spatial awareness of a community when I'm there. Like, any city that I'm in, I'm, like, kind of looking on the map to see where I'm at, trying to gauge what the layout is. I did understand it by the end of it, but an island that switches the whole thing up. Definitely different vibes on the island vibe. But it was really beautiful. It was awesome. It was one of the best trips I've taken. I was able to kind of check out. I also did get to do comedy, so I flew in. It was Friday, and we flew in. It was the 24th, so that Friday right after Thanksgiving. And we got to I took a little nap, went to a comedy club, Stand Up Honolulu, and did end up doing 3 shows. I'm not going to sit here and flex it. I got a bunch of people in Honolulu that came through, but they were all super fun shows. It's a very cool room. If you're ever in Honolulu and you're traveling and you got a night to do something, or if you're listening right now and you're in Hawaii, it's a dope new room that you have right there. My buddy Pepper Lamb put it together during I don't know if he opened like during the pandemic or like right after it, but it's been open for, I believe, a little over a year. And really cool. I mean, if you're cities like that, like, I don't know how you even start comedy in a place like that sometimes. I know we had a scene in Phoenix, but if you're a comic there living in Hawaii, that's a great little spot to get on stage and kind of get things going too. And if you're a comic listening for some reason, that's a dope spot. Pepper runs a professional room, so it was really cool. We put 3 shows together. It was always nice to like double dip and do, you know, leisure and then also add in business and then write off the trip. You know what I'm saying? That's a business expense, baby. Let's fucking go. So yeah, I loved it. That was cool though. Getting right in and then diving into work was a little interesting though. I always like to I would have rather been there a week and then been able to like kind of make fun of the local stuff a little bit more, just to kind of be a little bit more familiar with the surroundings. But next time I go back, I know a little bit more on what to poke fun at. But I was just kind of coming in there. I felt like a fish out of water the first day because I was like, I just got here. It's my first time here, and I'm gonna talk shit to all of you. But super fun, and it was a good way to start things off. And then also it was nice to like get the work out of the way the first couple of days, and then have the rest of the trip to relax. Probably the coolest thing that happened: 3 different people genuinely knew who I was, and they all lived in Honolulu, and they all came up to me, or some level of like I was walking down the street one time, and some chick was like, "Michael Turner," and honestly, I'm like, what you? They talk to you as if they know you personally, which is dope. Because that means that you've made a connection enough through social media or whatever it is where they connected, where they actually think that they know you on a personal level. But I'm sitting here like, where do I know you from? Arizona State? Did you do comedy with me one time? Were we a coworker one time? Were you in jail with me in 2012 in Arizona for a DUI? Was that where I know you? It wasn't any of that. She was just a fan, and that was really cool. Took a selfie. And then I told her that I had shows that night. She did not come. That's what I love. I ran into 3 people. None of those 3 people that lived in Honolulu came to any of my shows, which is great. That's fine. You know, there's a little bit of like, fuck you, though. If you're a real one, pull up. You know what I mean? One of the dudes had a pretty legitimate excuse. He had just gotten back the day of, and he was working that night. And that was fair. But I've been posting about it, and it hurts my feelings. And then, yeah, the one chick saw me on the street. The second dude was at the bar that I pulled up to. We're just getting like drinks before another meal at a nice little steakhouse that had a good bar. Honestly, a nice little steak. I think it was Ruth Chris. It was or like Wolfgang Steakhouse or something like that. It was one of those like chefs that you would know. That's what it was. It was Wolfgang. And we pulled up to the bar. Got a little Mai Tai, and the bartender immediately knew who I was. He was like, "You in town doing shows?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, let's go." And then he didn't hook me up with discounted drinks or anything. I think he gave me free bread. Pretty sure the bread was always free. You know what I mean? So not a big hookup scene for my fanhood yet. But and then what was the third one? There was somebody else that saw me that recognized me too. Oh, we went to this lobster place. There was amazing seafood on the island, if you can imagine. First day that we had gotten there, first morning was a Saturday, and there's a great market that you can hit up, and it's like all the local dope spots in Hawaii. There's like 25, 30 options, and you get all these things. And the best bite that we had was this lobster roll. We're like, let's go back to that. And so the last day that we were there, we went back to the lobster roll spot, like the brick and mortar spot that was in town. Crushed a roll, turned around. This dude was like, "Dude, Michael Turner, what's up, dude? Huge fan." And then the show's already done. I'm like, I was just here. That's the worst. Is like, oh man, what are you performing? It's just here, big guy. You just missed me. And I went. What am I just gonna come back to Honolulu for you to miss another show? Couldn't have posted about it more and tagged the city and ran advertisements and all this shit. But was cool to see. I don't know. I've said it on this podcast multiple times. I've done a bunch of drugs. There's no better feeling than somebody noticing you and being a fan in a public setting. Especially also like I'm with my girl. There's always a nice like flex. Not to say she doesn't love me either way, but when you're with somebody else, it validates everything you're doing because I don't know. Maybe it's just me believing that people don't believe in me sometimes. I don't know. What is it? It's probably, I don't blindly think that everybody just believes in me. Haters are out there. Not to say, like, people that are close to me. Like, my girlfriend obviously loves me, and she believes in me and stuff like that. But sometimes you'll be out with the homies, and the homies can talk shit. The homies can be some people that aren't. They're always kind of bring you down, shit like that. And or like when you're with family, sometimes family is just like questioning what you're doing, you know, and they're doing it usually from a place of love. Like, yo, is this going well? Are you doing the right things? And being noticed and like seeing people in person and seeing that, and then being around other people to validate it. That's the flex, baby. That's what we're doing. So definitely keep coming up to me and saying what up if you see me in public. And if you are in a city that I'm performing in and you come say what up to me, you better have bought tickets to the fucking show. Okay? Come on. But, yeah, so that was dope. It's also like Honolulu. Who knew I got reach, baby. I'm big on the island. Gives me a little confidence to come back. A little confidence. And I definitely will be back. I want to make that a thing, and you know that would be amazing to be able to afford going to Honolulu based on travel with ticket sales being bumped up. You know what I'm saying? Fucking moving tickets, moving some merch, getting some money in there, seeing some fucking turtles and shit. Because overall, once the shows were done, it was dope. It was a good trip. I tried to write some things down because I remember there's so much to do. But yeah, the first time we got in, we did the shows, which is good. And then so the shows are over, and then the next night was my actual birthday. Didn't have to do any shows. We kicked it all day, and we woke up, and during the day, we went surfing. That was the day that we went surfing. I had never even tried to surf. I don't know if you know my athletic ability. First of all, I used to have a nice little J back in the day. I could stroke it on the basketball court. I was a decent second baseman. They threw me in left field, right field in the high school days, but your boy was still covering a lot of ground. You know what I mean? You weren't running first to third on a single through the to the outfield. You're not doing that. I'm throwing you out of third. Okay? Don't try me. One of the best arms of the team that I could remember, and I'm biased. But no, I'm not. I'm definitely not like I run and shit, but I'm not. I was never a crazy athlete. I always did athletic shit, but I wasn't like that. Surfing, I feel like, is some core strength, also some flexibility that I don't have. You pretty much have to go like you have to lay down and stand up pretty quick. And, this was the 37th birthday of mine. We're not moving like we used to, guys, okay? And you got this 25-year-old telling you how to do it. He's been doing it his whole life. He took his shirt off before we went out there. His kid's shredded. You know what I mean? He's shredded. And so he's telling me what to do and stuff like that. It's like, all right, bro, fucking chill out. And, but I say all that, and he tells us what I remember. Like the instructions were sitting on the park by the ocean beforehand, and he's instructing us on the simple stuff like lay down, do this, bring your knees up here, then you're gonna get up, all this stuff. And I was just like, dude, I don't think this is gonna go well. I wasn't, I'm not a guy that can I'm not a flexible dude that can touch his toes. I have trouble sitting Indian style. Is anybody with me on that? I don't know how people are just doing it. Sometimes that shit hurts. And so I was not confident that I was gonna do well at this at all. Went out there, but also I give myself credit on the fact that I do try shit, and I also am open to failing shit and try and figure it out. And this was definitely a let's fail a bunch and try to figure it out. And so I finally got out there, and we're in the ocean and all that shit, and we did the first wave, and he is helping. He's pretty much like, yo, I'm going to tell you this, and then once I say get up, you just do the whole thing that we just taught you on at the park and get up. Easier said than done. We did all that. First wave out, your boy got up. I got up. I got up 2 times. It was the first 2 times. And after that, I did not get up anymore. And I think it's actually because of the coaching. because this kid was trying to tell me what to do and shit like that. I don't know what I was doing, but I was getting up, and then he tried to like correct what I was doing. Didn't get up anymore. But after the first 2 times, he looked at me. He was like, "Dude, honestly, I've never seen anybody do it like that." And I don't think he meant it as a compliment. You know what I mean? He was very perplexed in what was going on. He was like, I got up the first time. He was like, damn, you got up. Cool. But that's not how you should have gotten up. He was like saying I was all off balance and shit. I didn't bring the foot over too enough or something like that. I don't know. Because I was in the zone. I was like, dude, I just fucking got up, dude. Fuck you, bro. And then I went back. And the second time I got up and I was like on the board. And I actually moved like backwards on the board. Which is, like, he was saying, he was like, dude, you walked backwards on the board your second time. He's like, I've never seen anybody do that. And he was also saying it like, dude, he was saying it in a way where he's like, I don't know what you're doing, and nothing that you're doing should be working, but I can't sit here and tell you that you didn't get up on the board. Because that was the ultimate goal, was just to get up and serve. That was all I wanted to do that day. That was it. And then he was trying to teach. He was like almost trying to over teach, or I don't know if you'd say like overcorrect, but like he was definitely trying to let me know how to do it the right way and shit. And I tried to, and first of all, he was right. I wasn't doing it the right way, but I was getting up and I was having fun. And then I started not getting up. I was trying to like overdo it, or I don't know. I was probably overthinking it. And because the only time I've ever seen instructions on surfing was Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and I thought those were pretty good instructions. Do less. You're doing too much. Do less. And then you can't do too little though. Do a little bit more than that, and then just find that happy medium. That's what I was trying to do. And then we had a good conversation at one point. He was like, "Are you gonna keep doing this? Like, are you trying to like surf, like be a surfer?" And I looked at him. I was like, "Bro, no, this is not my life." He's like, "I'm out here just trying to get up." And it was actually a good conversation, because he was like, "Dope. Just do what you're doing. Try to get up." And yeah, so we just kept doing that. It was fun though. I'd never surfed before. I definitely always wanted to try, because I know people that are. Sometimes you meet a surfer, you're like, you surf, and I've always heard that it's dope, like getting up on the board and kind of catching a wave or whatever like that. And it is true. Yeah, when you're up there, you're a little closer to God. That's for sure. I know that much. And it was cool. It was cool. I got some video evidence to prove that I was up on a fucking surfboard. So fuck you if you question me. And yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. That was birthday during the day, and then at night we did a luau, which is something that you should probably do if you're in Hawaii, right? I think I had the idea of what a luau was in my mind, and I was pretty sure that there was going to be a huge pig roasted underneath the ground. There was going to be some tribal chants and shit like that. No, I guess I don't do the pig as much. I think you can do that. We did, like, there's a bunch of different luau things you can do, though. It's a way to kind of tap into the culture of Hawaii. Because I'll tell you right now, however we say Hawaii is not how they say it. I didn't even know what they were saying half the time. One dude said Hawaii. I thought I said, "Are you saying Hawaii? Is that a different? Are you saying 3 letters?" But there's like, there's a bunch of cultural shit to understand with the island and stuff like that, and the tribes that were there and all that shit. And so that's kind of what the luau's represent. And then you're gonna get some good grub, and you're just gonna crush Mai Tais. And that's something that became apparent to me from day one, is the consistent thing that you're going to do is just crush Mai Tais. And I haven't drank rum since college, really. We used to crush, I don't even know if you call Captain Morgan's rum. It is rum, but you know what I mean. It's like candy too. Sailor Jerry's we used to crush. Mount Gay. I used to drink a lot of rum, and then I became old enough to drink. So I don't really do rum anymore, but I do like it. It is a different drunk. But which is weird how they all are a little different drunk. Tequila's a little bit more of an upper drunk. bourbon will fucking put you out, but you usually have a pretty good time and a deep conversation before you get into a fight with a close relative. And then rum, I don't know what rum. I mean, it does pair well with being on an island and being drunk. I'll give it that. Um, but I was just crushing Mai Tais at that thing, and then the luau was, yeah, but it was at so it was at like a Marriott or something. And they turned this whole area into this thing. But there's some dope singers. They're playing the hits. You know what I mean? Good, talented musicians. And then there's a host that was kind of, and I'm sure all luau's are a little different, but the one that we went to, the host is kind of breaking down some history stuff. And then you really got these dancers, dude. And it's these chicks with these hula skirts and coconuts on their titties and shit like that. They're doing a lot of hip movements, a lot of gyrations. I'll give them that. And then it's just Polynesian men screaming war chants. I will say, just Polynesian men screaming war chants and like scantily clad women while you're crushing Mai Tais, it really gets the juices flowing. You know what I mean? Like, it really gets the blood flowing. I was amped up for a little bit. I was pretty jacked up. And then it continues to escalate, so it gets more and more. It's funny, the songs, the tribal songs, like the dudes were doing more like the which is, that's probably pretty racist how that sounded. It also sounded a little bit more like an Native American maybe. They're screaming. They're screaming some stuff that I'm not familiar with. They're slapping their chests a lot, and they're pointing with their whole hand to the Lord with the palm up, you know what I mean? And like doing, full extension stuff. And then the women come on after the men, and it is just such a 180 in energy. Just so nice and loving. The hip gyrations, the hand movements are much more softer, and there was like this 10-year-old girl was doing one. She was so proud. It was just, she was so, just elegant, happy to be there. She'd been working on that dance for a while. And then you go back to the men, and the men bring out a 10-year-old, and this kid's fucking eating fire and spinning this shit like a crazy kid, like a fucking pyromaniac. And so yeah, the 180 from the men to women was a fun thing to watch. And then it all escalated to just a grown man that understands how to control fire, pretty much. And that was pretty awesome. He's putting doing the tongue stuff, putting the flame on the tongue. I'll never forget this or understand the science of that. How's that work? Doesn't seem comfortable. Also, who was the first dude that was like, bro, you think I can? I bet I can do it. But I can fucking. You don't think I'll choke that fucking fire down my throat? Say I won't. Like, what kind of challenge was that? Was that the first double dog dare? I wouldn't have dared anybody to do that. Sounds pretty concerning. You're going to burn your esophagus, dude. How does that shit work? But, also, like, how's that, the make-out session after that? What are you doing? What's the hygiene after that? Are you doing Listerine to get that flavor out of your mouth? Are you making out with some chick with just straight flame breath? You know what I mean? Does it help? Does it burn some of the gingivitis going on in your mouth? Does it help it? I don't know. It's a concerning thing. But yeah, I know that I will never attempt that. And I think that I'm super okay with never doing that with fire in my mouth. I don't get why people do that. But this dude was a pro, and it was pretty dope. And I was 3-4 Mai Tais deep, and I was like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Also, those dudes were huge. Every single Hawaiian dude was large. They look like they could definitely play in the league, the NFL, for sure. But that was like the midway through. We were there for like 7 days. So we got the luau, we got the surfing out of the way. Then we kind of got to chill and like see the island in a different way too. We went, the next day was scuba diving, or not scuba diving, I'm sorry. Snorkeling. Completely different. Not completely different, but you know what I'm saying? Scuba diving is a whole thing. We'd have to go to classes for this shit. They gave us fucking goggles. You look like a moron. And you couldn't control how puffy your lips were under the mask. And they told you to breathe and swim. But that was also like you hear about it all the time. I'd never gone snorkeling too. I haven't done a lot of fucking tropical shit. That's what I realized about myself. I'm always doing cool shit. Like I've done pretty well fucking traveled around this country. I've done some pretty good shit. National park type stuff. Been to like every major city for the most part. Trying to think of one I haven't been to. Every major city, yeah. I don't think I've been to Boston. Depends on, that's probably where the fall off is. Boston, but I've been, every major city, and then also like almost every major national park I've been to. Other than I want to go to Glacier, and I know there's a couple other ones. Badlands, I'd like to go to. Banff, but that is in Canada, so that doesn't really count. But pretty well fucking traveled. But it's all like outdoorsy shit in a completely different way than Hawaii has to offer, right? Because Hawaii, you're seeing the scenery. It's like, I don't know, the green is just greener. The ocean's as blue as it can be. The air is fresh as fuck. The fruit is fresh as fuck. It definitely holds up to how people talk about it. And snorkeling and shit like that, I'd never done it. You see fucking videos of it, and you see people, oh, you gotta snorkel, blah, 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 all this shit. So they took us out to some reef in the ocean. I guess it's called a sandbar, because, like, pretty much you can walk on the sand. It was up to your waist, pretty much. And you're, like, walking out there, and then you dive in to this little area where there's a reef, and you just roll up on that. It's got, like, you just getting eyes on these turtles, bro. I was, like, 1 or 2 feet away from this turtle. And the one thing they tell you is don't fucking touch the turtles. It's like a $10,000 fine if you even fucking touch one of these turtles. Luckily, I wasn't like, I'll tell you what, I was close enough where I wanted to touch it, like the shell or something. You kind of do want to fuck with it a little bit. But I didn't. I'm a good man. And, but yeah, the turtles were there. It was like, yeah, that was crazy. Seeing these big ass fucking turtles are coming up, popping up for air. And then just a gang of fish. It's some fucking Finding Nemo shit. But you are in it. It's cool. That was cool as hell. Water was nice. That's another thing too. I'm out here in LA, the Pacific Ocean by where I'm at. Cold as shit. And then the Atlantic is fucking miserable. This was Hawaii, dude. You're chilling, dude. It's warm as fuck. And it's December or something like that. End of November was when we were there. So that was crazy. But snorkeling was really dope. And just getting to do all this shit with my girl is great. It's nice to have somebody, too, that you can, like, do all this type of shit with and have fun with. That's the key. That's the key to a healthy relationship, is just doing all the things and enjoying your time together. And then also on the boat, dude, we're eating Spam Masubis, which is fun. I didn't even know about these things until, like, 6-7 months ago. We were at a bar in L.A., and I was with my girl, and she was saying, "Oh, you gotta have this. They have Spam Masubis. It's like $4 or something like that, or $3." I was like, "What the fuck is this? We're eating Spam." Like, the only memory I have of Spam growing up was how it was, if you were broke as shit in between checks. Like, I remember that Marlon Wayans movie. I think it was called Mo Money, Mo Problems. They were eating Spam, and they were fucking broke as shit in the movie. Like, it wasn't a big selling point to me to go out of my way to eat Spam. Hawaii, they're fucking crushing these things. And you know what? They're fucking good. It's a nice little snack. I never knew. So I had a gang of those all week, and they were good. It's like, what is it? It's like sushi, but Spam. It's like rice, seaweed, Spam, and something else I'm forgetting. Oh, some sauce. Like maybe some teriyaki sauce or like some soy sauce or something like that. It's fire. You crush it, dude. And if you're listening and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just trust me. Eat that shit. That shit is good. I don't know if it's good for you, but the shit is good. And, yeah, the snorkel day was good. Crushing Spam Masubi was good. All the meals were really good, too. We fucking crushed some meals. We had some steak one night. The first meal we had, we went to this, I don't remember exactly what it was called. But it's like a udon noodle spot right in the middle of Waikiki. The line, like throughout the week, the line was, like 40 deep, like most days. and we pulled up on it, and it wasn't that long of a line, but we didn't know the line was that long all the time. But it was like you can just pull up, it was maybe 5, 6 people in front of us, and luckily we did that because I wouldn't want to wait it. But that shit was fucking amazing. And it's always nice being with my girl's of Asian descent, Vietnamese. She knows the best fucking Asian situations as far as food and stuff like that. I let her guide me. She has not steered me in the wrong way yet. The shit was fire. If you're ever in Waikiki, pull up on that shit. That's something udon. You'll know because it's the place that has fucking 40 people outside of it every fucking day. And if there ain't a line, sneak in there. Get in there. So that shit was really good. All the meals were really, really good, though. That's one thing for sure. But it's a resort town. I feel like you could have probably thrown us some trash meals. People are it was expensive. Some of it was maybe a little overly overpriced. But like we went to one spot called Strip Steak. Hard vouch. If you're trying to do a nice steak dinner in Waikiki, let that thing fuck you up. And then beyond that, we did a couple tours. So that was the other thing we did. We did a tour of the whole island. People say you got to go to the North Shore when you're there, so we hit the North Shore. And it was like a loop around the whole island, which is Oahu, which is the most populated island on Hawaii. And it's got the capital, big cities, all that shit. One thing they kept saying is like, dude, don't go to the west side, bro. They'll fuck you up. And I guess that's real. Sounds like there was one local dude that was doing a tour for us, and he was just explaining how it was funny. He's like, oh, my God, it's so beautiful. Everything was like beauty, and then this other horrible thing. This was the dude that was taking us around the whole island. It was called like the Circle Island Tour or something like that, and you circle the whole island, right? And he would just say, like somebody was asking, like, hey, is there anything nice to do on the west side of Honolulu? And he's like, oh, my God, it's so beautiful. Some of the best beaches in the world are over there on the west side of Honolulu. Great question. Also, if you go over there, check out where you park. If there's not a lot of cars parked there, you're probably going to get broken into. I like to go with my windows down because they'll just break your windows and steal whatever the fuck is in there. But super dope over there. Really beautiful stuff. But you could definitely be in harm's way. And so just know, it was like this one beautiful sentence and a hard vouch for this area. And then also like, but you could die. You for sure could die. And that tour guide was definitely geekable. He was somebody that was he was a original islander. He was born and raised there. All his roots are there. You know, at any point he would just start singing a chant of his people about having the sunrise and shit like that. And I was like, that was really nice. And then he would let you know that they're running out of water on the island, and you should fucking do anything you can to conserve it. But then also like this beautiful place over here, get eyes on it. You know what I'm saying? Go see this. And then he would tell you that Monsanto is ruining everything about foods and how they grow foods and how they're poisoning the population, and Monsanto can eat a dick. And then also then he'd be like, but over here is the pineapples. Those are fire. And get those pineapples. And the mangoes too. It was like, crushed the tour though. He did do a good job. There's a lot of stuff to learn and shit like that. But it was funny to observe for sure. I enjoyed it. Like he would at one point he was like, "Oh my God, you guys remember the film Pearl Harbor? This place over here, and you're looking at this beautiful place. It's like that's where they attacked, right there. That's where it was in the Michael Bay film when Josh Hartnett got blasted and Cuba Gooding Jr. didn't make it. That's right. It's right there. Beautiful stuff. And we did Pearl Harbor as well. We did the Circle Island tour, and then we did the Pearl Harbor tour. You know me, big history buff. Pearl Harbor tour was. All I'll say is that was the most beautiful place I've ever been to be so somber. You know what I'm saying? Like at least those guys died in paradise. That's could be worse. Sneak attack, very unfortunate way to die, but at least your last visual was pretty nice. Nice palm trees and stuff like that. 75-degree day, Not a bad way to be buried. Could be way worse. You don't want to get sneak attacked in Kansas. You know what I mean? At least you were in Hawaii. But that was the most beautiful, depressing thing I've ever seen. It is wild. You're just looking at the water like, this is fucking stunning. And then they're also like, yeah, there's a lot of people that died under that water. There's bodies are still there, chilling. So, some heavy stuff for sure. And I've done my fair share of research on all those things. Also, the crazy thing is there's so many Japanese people there for sure. A lot of Asian people in Hawaii. And so many Japanese people. And you're like, you know, well, I'm not still angry about it, but you're also like, you know, what's their perspective when they're touring this thing? Is there, you know, you want to kind of bend their ear and be like, do you feel bad about this though? What happened, dude? What was going on? But Japan now, one of the most forward-thinking, or at least from what I've been told, very progressive country. So is Germany. Really did the 180. You know what I mean? So good on you. But, yeah, they really fucked some shit up back in the 40s. Really, really doing some stuff. But that's the whole island is really a lot of just almost all Asian culture influenced, which I didn't know. I guess I never really thought about it. But, yeah, you got the people, it was like the Polynesian people came over in the boats, and then like Pacific Islanders and shit like that. And then a lot of people in the early 1900s, I think they were trying to get away from Japan when they were going crazy in the early 1900s with all that nationalism, and probably dip off to Hawaii. So I guess that does make sense that there's a lot of people there from there. But also the fact that human beings are on this island at all, that was another thing where I'm just like, you telling me this is like fucking 10,000 years ago, some dude was just like, I bet I can fucking make a boat and see what the fuck's out there in the ocean. And then just ended up there. There's some trial and error involved in that. Some dudes did not make it back. But once you did get to Hawaii, it's like, dude, told you. Meanwhile, who'd you tell? All the people you told are dead or back on the fucking island. You know what I mean? We just fucking starting your own life here. But that's what they did. It is wild. Island life is always fascinating to me. Like, how did they get there? How did that shit even start? And then also, like, staying there is interesting. Like, being on an island and just, like, I'm sure there's some people born in Honolulu or born in Hawaii that have never left. I know some fucking people that have never left Cincinnati. You know what I mean? Never even been on a fucking trip outside of the state. They went to Kentucky by accident one time for 20 minutes. You know, like, but to never leave the island is wild. It's an interesting perspective, the island life. I don't know if I could do it. I'm intrigued by it. It was interesting to talk to a lot of people there. They love it. They're definitely like way better with appreciating nature than us. I know that much. But it also makes sense. Like, if you're surrounded by such beauty in nature, then you love it way more than somebody in fucking rural Missouri that's just like, dude, this fucking sucks. Nature kind of blows. You wouldn't have the best relationship with it. But if you're getting fucking fed mangoes and fucking fresh-ass coconuts on the daily, that changes your perspective on things. But yeah, island life was interesting. It was dope. I'm happy I got to do it. Never been to Hawaii. Would definitely love to go back. We did the last couple of days get some shitty weather. It was like raining a couple of days, but it was still that was actually a nice thing to see the perspective on that. It was like it was still just fucking beautiful, you know. It was still very good weather. Like, you know, it was still 70 degrees. Yeah, it's raining a little bit, but you know, it would be much worse if it was like some shit weather in Seattle or something like that. And it was still very beautiful to see all that stuff. So that was really nice. Overall, good experience. Hard vouch for Hawaii. I appreciate you guys. And then from Hawaii, I had to fly from Hawaii to L.A. I slept one night and then jumped on another plane to Jacksonville. Or I'm sorry, to Tampa, Florida. I went to kick it with my homie Sam. My best friend lives in Tampa. He kind of runs shit out there too. He owns a lot of different things, which is cool. He's done really well for himself. And so it's always nice to go there and kind of chill and like be in a city. It's nice to be in a city where you're with somebody that kind of everybody knows him or they know everybody where you're going and shit like that. When you got somebody that runs a city, and I'm not saying he runs the city, but you know what I'm saying? When they're plugged in, you just kind of ride along for the ride, do some nice shit. So that was cool. Went to like some new bars in town that I hadn't been to. I've been to Tampa a bunch of times. Always have a good time. And then from Tampa we went to Jacksonville. So the Bengals played Jacksonville, and also when I was in Hawaii, the Bengals played the Steelers. It was fucking miserable. It was the second game that Jake Browning had played. It was the first one that he started. It was not looking good for your boy. But also, like, it was the Steelers' defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's arguably the best defense in the NFL. It's probably not number one statistically and shit like that. But, like, if you got a healthy T.J. Watt, you got a healthy, their whole D-line, Hayward. There's another dude I'm missing on there. I think Highsmith or something like that. They got some fucking bad boys on that line. If your first NFL start is against them and you do a shitty job, I'm not going to really take that away from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joe Burrow is our quarterback. He's had some pretty shitty games against them, too. I think he threw like 3 or 4 interceptions last year against them. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough team to get into and just get the thing rolling. But it was the first start for Jake Browning, and you're looking at the team, and you're like, this doesn't look great. This doesn't look great. And then you got to go to Jacksonville on Monday Night Football. Jacksonville's supposed to be good. At the time that we played them, they were number one in the AFC. So, tied with Baltimore. So, like, you're sitting there and you're like, damn, this isn't going to be great. This could go poorly. And we get in there, and so we spend a couple days in Tampa, kick it with the homies, do some fun stuff, all that shit. Always a good time. Drive up to Jacksonville, and I do a comedy show. And this one, you guys will be happy to hear, the Bengals.com people, the media people for the Bengals reached out again. They came to the show. They filmed some stuff. So I should be on this week's episode of, I think it's called Rule the Jungle or something like that. Whatever their weekly Bengals.com thing is. It's their in-season, like, hey, this is how the team's doing. This is what the fans are up to and shit like that. So hit your boy up. They tapped in with me again. So that was really dope. And we did a show in Jacksonville. Again, never been to Jacksonville, didn't know what to expect. Had some real motherfuckers come out. I always try to see, like, hey, who's here that knows who I am? Everybody knew who the fuck I was. There's some people from Cincinnati down there. There's a bunch of people that knew me, whether they follow me on IG or they just saw an ad that I was running and shit like that, and they fucked with me from that. And so that was cool. The Jacksonville show was really cool. We did a Jackrabbits Live, hard vouch for the venue. You could tell that was a establishment that had some pretty sketchy punk rock shows throughout the last 20 years. It had a bathroom that had no mirror in it, but you know if there was one, somebody would break it off and do cocaine on it and shit like that. You know what I mean? It would definitely had an energy of some poor decisions in that bathroom. It smelled like it had definitely seen a NoFX show. You know what I mean? It was but independent music spots are always my favorite. And sometimes they turn into really good comedy shows. This was one of them. So it was a good comedy experience for sure. So I appreciate you, anybody in Jacksonville that pulled up. And then the next day, we're in Jacksonville, and we got the game to play. And you're trying to wrap your head around if this is going to be good or not. We got Jake Browning. I'm on social media just like a lot of you guys are on social media, whether you're rooting for another team or you're rooting for the Bengals. It's up and down. It's a week-to-week thing. And I would say that our entire fan base is pretty much like, this is going to be shit. We're going to punt the season away. We're going to get a top draft pick, and let's fucking call it a wash. And also, we weren't the only people thinking that. I went to the tailgate as I do. I go fuck with the Jacksonville fans, and they thought the same thing, for sure. And all the Bengals fans I talked to, too, were like that. But here's the one thing. I do love being able to have been on the road for this whole season to get the perspective of this, because the Bengals fans were still fucking there. Because we know, I mean, it's been shit before, but these motherfuckers planned this trip months ago. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to not come to Jacksonville. And we actually stayed one of the nights, me and Sam stayed by Jacksonville Beach in Margaritaville. And if you know anything about Cincinnati, there's some Cincy people that fucking love Margaritaville. That's their home away from home, okay? So we were there drinking. There was like fucking Cincy South in that bitch. You got stripes to the left, stripes to the right. Okay, we're the only game in town. That's Finn's. These are lyrics. Jimmy Buffett. But yeah, it was Bengal striped up. Lot of good energy down there in Jacksonville, considering how bad the team potentially was gonna be doing, and how bad the game could go and shit like that. We're on national TV. What's gonna happen? We pulled up. Fuck them. And then I go to the tailgate and had heard that there was a couple of good tailgates for Jacksonville people. And I was trying to figure out what the city's all about. Like, excuse me, I'm getting these burps out. But I don't know. I always thought I've been there one time before, and this is how my takeaway was. It was like Pittsburgh with a beach, and I do not mean that as a compliment. It's like and I've been to Long Beach a bunch, and Long Beach is the same type of thing. It's like an industrial town. It's like a hard-working town. People are just fucking there working their ass off, and there happens to be a fucking beach there. It's pretty beautiful. Like, that's it. Because the Jacksonville beach actually wasn't that bad. It was kind of nice. But it's also like that. That's actually more south. Jacksonville's probably more south than anywhere else in Florida. Well, maybe like Tallahassee, all that shit. The rule of thumb in Florida is the more north you go, the more south you go, if that makes sense, right? Because, like, Miami's, like, not really the South. Miami's, like, its whole different thing. Miami's, like, a fucking international city. It's, people speak more Spanish there than English, shit like that. And then Tampa is actually, to me, a very dope city. I actually fuck with Tampa heavy, and I don't really love the rest of Florida. I can kind of do without a lot of it. But Tampa's kind of like an East Coast city. It's a beach city. It's a lot of people from, like, the upper Northeast that relocate there and retire there and shit like that. It's kind of like an East Coast San Diego is what I always call Tampa in my mind. And then you get into, like, Orlando, obviously Disney and shit like that. But it's pretty fucking country motherfuckers up there. Swampland shit. And then Jacksonville is, like, pretty much Georgia, right? Like, you're not that far from the border of Georgia. And it's some, at the end of the day, you're talking about Florida football fans. And because, I'm sure I'm not, like, the only one thinking this. Like, I've never really met a real fucking Jaguars fan. Are you kidding me? Like, these people are out there. But, yeah, you know where they are? They're in Jacksonville, okay? And I don't know. They definitely are hardcore. But I felt bad for them because they're like, they were so confident. And as a Bengals fan that just got Burrow the last 4 years, and we've had confidence here and there. I was confident during the Carson Palmer years. There was some Dalton. 2015, I was pretty confident. I liked that team a lot. Obviously, it all fucking blew up in our face. But those moments are good for me only because it helps me to be humble when we start talking too much shit, right? Like, I love our team. We're a good-ass team. If Burrow's healthy, we're as good as anybody in the fucking league. But you don't want to get to the Jags are 8-3. They're, like, fighting for a 1 seed and shit like that. And these dudes were talking shit like they were going to fucking run it up and win the Super Bowl. And you're just like, you need to chill out. You need to calm down. Because and I know. It's like they're not talking to a Bengals fan. Like, they were talking shit to me as a Bengals fan, like, we're going to do this. It's like, bro, we're the same. We are the same fucking franchise, except you guys haven't been around as long. Like, you've never had nice things. It's been fucking miserable. When people never believe you until you prove it over and over and over again. When things are going good, it falls flat in your face. The one time you guys went to the AFC Championship with Blake Bortles, like, nobody really thought that was going to be a thing that was going to work out for you guys, right? And it didn't. It didn't. Blake Bortles was not the guy. And it's just like, you just got to chill a little bit. But they were gassed up. And it was a fun tailgate. Those motherfuckers are going hard down there, though. That's my biggest takeaway was I was shocked at how they got, I don't want to call it culture in that tailgate, but they got fucking some boozy boys getting after it. And you can tell they've been getting after it for years. Not just, and I hope it's not just when they're like 8-3 and shit like that, but There's some diehard dudes down there for sure, and I wish good things upon them. I hope for all the best things. Again, from a Bengals fan to Jaguars fan, I know the pain. This shit is real. So, good luck to you. But it was funny, like, dude, it was the closest I've gotten into a fight with somebody. This dude came up to me. I don't even want to put it on, like, the YouTube final video for my tailgate shit. I probably won't because, like, I got a little too angry at this dude because he was like, I always try to figure out if I should wear black and orange and wear a Bengals shirt or not at these things. And this time I was like, it's Jaguars fans. How bad can it be? I'm actually going to go as a Bengals fan. But the reason I don't do it, if you ever wonder in these videos why I'm wearing all black, because once they see the colors, then you don't have an opportunity to have any conversation. It's just shit talking, hate. And so I did go with I go with this. It's like a Wu-Tang Houday shirt that my buddy Drew Sinclair made for just some homies. I think it's a dope shirt. It's also like a shirt, though, that tells you I'm a Bengals fan, but it's also like not over the top. There's a reason I choose to wear it because it's like I want to let people know, yo, this is my squad, but also it's not like super orange. It's not like in the past I'd wear a fucking Bengal, like in a fucking Bengal costume. I've done that a lot. That's a little too aggressive, a little too on the nose. And no, so I do that because I don't want it to get too aggressive. I don't want it to just go straight to fuck you, fuck the Bengals, fuck Joe Burrow. Like, that's what happens. And it's not even, I'm not blaming anybody. It's just what fans do. And this one dude just came at me so sideways, and he was like, who the fuck are you? And then, that's a pretty bad way to start a conversation. And then I was like, blah, 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 I do this. I'm a comedian. I'm doing these things. And he's like, oh, you're a comedian? Who the fuck? Who, what are you, an open micer? And then I'm like, all right, what the fuck? And then he's asking me who I've opened for in the past and you know big names, who you opened for that I would know. And then the thing is, some people are probably listening and like, just tell them you've opened for this person, that person. Now, I've opened for huge names. Shane Gillis, currently one of the biggest comics. I think I just was telling the story recently. Matt Rife, right? These are people that everybody knows. JB Smoove was somebody that I fucking loved being able to open for. Shit like that. But then if I start responding like that, then I look like a fucking schmuck. Who the fuck is this guy? I got to prove myself to him. And then you're just in defense mode. I didn't love how I reacted, actually, because I always want to get those moments to make humor in them. But I was like, dude, this guy was like really big-chested, trying to like really fucking square up. He's a firefighter. He had Duval on his fucking. He's like, "Where's your? Oh, you a real fan?" First of all, he's asking me if I'm a real fan, and I'm sitting here like, dude, I've been to every single road game this whole fucking year, right? But in the moment, I'm just like, yeah, I'm a real. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, I'm at a road game right now. You never heard of people traveling to a road game? And then he's like, "Where's your tattoo?" And I'm like, "I don't have a tattoo." And he shows me he's got Duval tattooed on his bottom lip, inside his lip. I'm like, dude, this is a cry for help. You kidding me? What's going on? This is not the flex that you think it is. But like in situations like that, you're not. I want to be as witty as I can be and try to make the humor and try to make the funniest thing happen. But you're not even talking to somebody that is in the same conversation. It's like you're just talking to a belligerent person where if you try to elevate the conversation or try to make light of the moment or something, this person's just going to like did I try to shake his hand? He put his hand out and he did the classic. He put his hand out and I'm trying to shake his hand to like, be like, yo, bro, we're good. And he does the fucking hand behind his head thing like a fucking 9-year-old. I just turned 37. What are we doing? So that was the type of dude I was dealing with. And that was frustrating. That was like also like sometimes I'm doing all the tailgate videos and I usually have a conversation with whoever's shooting it and I'm like, I think we got enough. And we had enough. And I was like, let's go in one more time. Let's go see what else we can get. And I did. I did get some other things that were fun. But I also just got so disrespected by a dude that has the same sense of humor as a 9-year-old. And Duval tattooed on his inner lip. That's the other thing I realized about these Jaguars fans. They don't have anything to say. We say who day. Bengals fans say who day. But we also know our shit. All right, sorry. If you're noticing a glitch in the audio or anything like that, I just had the audio ran out on the Zoom, or the battery. I should say the battery ran out on the Zoom. So I don't know exactly where I stopped there with a nice little rant on the Jacksonville Jaguars fans. But yeah, these people, they're just screaming Duval is pretty much what I'm saying. And they don't have a lot of other things to say. And, but hey, good people for the most part. I don't want to be too disparaging when I'm talking about them. A lot of them gave me some pretty good Southern hospitality, but then a lot of them just were talking reckless shit. And that's to be expected with every fan base. There's always some people within each fan base that you're just like, yo, that's not our guy. That's not our people. Like the dude that was talking all this shit to me, he had two other friends that I had already been dealing with that were nice, and they came over and kind of dissipated the situation in a respectful way, and I appreciated that they did that. So, otherwise, dope-ass time in Jacksonville. And also, I say, I'm just talking about the tailgate and shit like that. The game itself was one of the best games of the year. I'm trying to think of a more exciting Bengals game. No, it couldn't have been, because it was back and forth. They scored, we scored type shit. There was some defensive plays. There were some fuck-ups on our end, actually. The Bengals tried to give the game away, whether it would be the Tyler Boyd fucking interception or just some dumb shit. But it was dope to see the team show that they really do care about. They're not punting the season away at all, and they're going to win, or they're at least going to try to win every game. Was my takeaway pretty much, because immediately when the game started, I felt like they were you can usually get a glimpse into the energy of the team within the first quarter or half a quarter. You're like, oh, they're locked in tonight. Or it's easier to see the opposite, actually, when they're not locked in. Usually you can see pretty early, this defense they're checked out. And they're not going to be able to keep up tonight. Immediately you can see the defense was locked in, the offense was blocking up front, and everybody was trying their fucking hardest to make this shit work, even though they don't have their quarterback anymore. That was dope. I love to see that. And then you're looking at the whole scope of the AFC, and I said this the last time. It's like, who the fuck knows? These guys, Jake Browning isn't a bottom tier quarterback. I honestly think he just won AFC. As I'm saying this, he just won AFC Offensive Player of the Week. He led I think he led the entire NFL in passing yards last week with 354. And he did it on Monday Night Football on the road. I don't know enough about the Jags defense statistics to know if they're really even that great or not, but I don't give a fuck who you are. They're 8-3 when we played them. You know what I mean? So overall, positive things. Jake Browning could be the guy. Also, if he goes on a nice little run, I don't give a shit if we only win a couple more games, but if he's playing competent football, this guy's going to make a bunch of money. Or we're going to have somebody that we can trade for more assets, which would be crazy. I don't know. We're not a team that does things like that. But if you have a guy that is on the roster, I don't know what his contract situation is or anything like that. Hopefully we have him signed where we can trade the dude. That'd be cool. That's probably not even realistic. Either way, he probably just made himself a bunch of money on Monday night. That's for sure. And so we got Indianapolis, Minnesota. Pittsburgh doesn't have their quarterback anymore. The Browns just started Joe Flacco. And then the Chiefs game is the second to last game of the year. They could have the division all locked up because the Jags just lost, and they're definitely going to have their division locked up by then because I don't think anybody's coming back in that division. And then they could have the AFC number 1 seed all locked up, depending on what happens by then. So even week 17, they might not even give a fuck about playing the Bengals. So we could win that game too. I'm just saying, we go 9-8 and get a fucking 7 seed. Could be fun. I don't know if it'll happen, but I wouldn't put it past us. That was a fun game to give yourself a little bit of boost of morale. We got a bunch of football players in that locker room. they care about shit, let's fucking go. You know what I mean? So that was good to see. And obviously it helped that Trevor Lawrence got injured late in the game, so that, improves our chances or likelihood of getting a W. You'd hate to see that. I always like to beat them fully healthy. But that's what the NFL is. You never know what the fuck's going to happen. And it looks like he's not out for the year. It looks like it's just a high ankle sprain, which sounds like it hurt like a motherfucker. But he should be back for the playoffs. And they're still fine for the playoff run. But Jags fans, if you're listening, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Don't let those moments humble you too much. Don't get too high on yourself. Don't fly too close to the sun. You know what I mean? But either way, I apologize for the technical issues here. I'm trying to, and then I'll have to edit this damn thing. I don't think it'll be too confusing, but there might be a little split in what I was saying there at the end for the talking about the Jaguars fans. But yeah, I'm back. The next month should be a little bit more easy schedule. But I appreciate everybody that reached out for my birthday wishes too. Your boy is a year older, 37 years of age. I saw Time magazine did not. It was once again I didn't get Person of the Year. It's kind of fucked. They did give it to Taylor Swift though, and yeah, I love how people were like, "Dude, fucking Taylor Swift, Person of the Year." Yeah, this bitch took over the NFL. Some white bitch with no butt, no ass at all, is like the star of the football league that we love. That's pretty impressive shit. This chick has my mom's always known about Taylor Swift because she likes, my sister loves her and shit like that. But there's people that should have no idea who the fuck Taylor Swift is that have fully formed opinion on this bitch. That's how you get Time Person of the Year. I'll give it to her. Good for you, T Swift. Now go get a butt. See what happens. You could change the fucking universe if you had ass. I'll tell you that right now. But hey, what do I know? But hopefully the next couple years I'll get eyes on Time will get eyes on me for Person of the Year. That'd be dope to get that, hang that up. That's a goal of mine by 40. So, but appreciate all the birthday wishes while I was gone in Hawaii, and then appreciate you guys rocking with me. I'm out here rocking the merch. If you guys want to do that, that's a good way to support me for my birthday, but also Christmas is coming up. Anything that you can get. I got the Rogue Warriors shirts still on sale. TurnerComedy.com. Go get that shit. Pittsburgh and Kansas City are the last stops on the Rogue Warrior tour, pending a crazy playoff run by the Bengals, which I'm not ruling out now. Shout out to Jake Browning. But if they do get to the playoffs, I got to figure out what they're going to do. I honestly was so confident at the beginning of the year that I thought that they'd have a home game or something like that. And also, if Burrow didn't go out, we probably would be kind of teed up for a nice little run here. But that is not the case. So I don't know what we'll do. So right now, I'm just focused on Pittsburgh on the 22nd, Kansas City on the 30th. If you know anybody in those markets or if you live in those markets, get tickets now. The Pittsburgh show, we had to switch the venue last minute. It's going to be dope still. We got a good spot. It's right on the main drag of a bunch of bars and stuff like that. So it's going to be fun. So if you haven't gotten tickets for the Pittsburgh show, those are live right now, TurnerComedy.com. Kansas City show's on the 30th at Knuckleheads. I know those tickets are already moving, so get those tickets now. Let's pack this shit out. I truly appreciate all the love. Jacksonville was really dope as far as the comedy show and the tailgate. That video should be going up here shortly, too, with the on YouTube as well from the Jacksonville tailgate also. So always love you guys. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the birthday love. Here's to another year. And, yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Who they motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?